In honor of the Eras Tour movie, I wanted to make our very own Eras Tour Wrapped, compiling all the data from every show to help us visualize how the outfits changed throughout the tour while we're revisiting this time in our lives. Let's dive straight in. The reason I formatted it this way is that way every single show has one bodysuit that showcases it, even if she wore one that she's already worn before. All it does is it showcases like the order of when things came in and how the set actually changed over time. I kind of like to visualize it this way. You can see for the entire first row, we only have the first two options, which is a pink and blue bodysuit and the blue and gold one. And then once we start to trickle in later ones, we get the purple one, the pink one, and the orange one. They really start to switch every night, and none of them ever went quote unquote extinct. All the bodysuits lasted the entire tour. It wasn't like some would come in and then some would leave. They stayed together the whole time. Same with Fearless. At the beginning, we really only get those first two options. And then by the end of the tour, we kind of escape the like confines of just a couple ones. If you look in Europe, that's when we start to get that black and silver fringe one. And then from there, you can see the tiger stripe one shows up, the silver one with the blue like little sapphire bit comes in. And we really do switch around a lot. And once again, with the Fearless dresses, none of them really left. The red shirts can get a little convoluted to see. I actually think this is the hardest to visualize, but we only did have 3 options until Europe, and then once Europe came, we got 3 more. Now, Speak Now is fun to visualize, even though not all of the silhouette is the same, so it kind of makes it look a little lopsided, even though they are all in the same square. But one thing that I find very interesting is you don't get a single purple Speak Now dress until the 3rd row of the tour. I know a lot of people think that 3-layer cupcake wrapper dress is the original one, but it isn't. The original one is the champagne one that we'll actually see in the movie of the final show, which is fun that she wore the original one then. But you can see that the colors of the Speak Now era actually kind of got more purple as the time went on, which I think is very interesting. There's not too much to say about Reputation except look how many times we got that red and black snake. It was really our trooper. It was there for us forever. Now, this is kind of interesting because if you look at the Folklore set, you can actually very clearly see the day that Evermore was merged onto the set, which is something I never thought you could be able to visualize. So at the beginning, you can see there's like purple, there's some pinks, there's like really cool muted tones. But the second we get to Europe, which starts with the first yellow dress you see here, we start to add in these almost autumn-like colors, this yellow, this red, to the like green color palette we have already. And so you can kind of see when Folklore joins its sister here, and I kind of think that's a very interesting thing to visualize. Now, 1989 is complicated because there was like 2 entirely different silhouettes of outfits, so I actually separated them. And I'm gonna go out of order and do the second version first because this is the more interesting version. These are the 2-piece sets. You can see that there really are a ton of mix and match options. It's a little bit hard to kind of visualize this, but she did wear some repeats. You'll see like the green top with a pink skirt here a couple times, and then obviously the yellow top with the orange skirt is very popular. Then we have the original set, and this is kind of crazy that the blue one didn't show up until so late, even though blue is the 1989 color, but obviously she was saving it for the moment 1989 Taylor's version came out, which was perfect. It was a genius idea. Now, this is actually a suggestion I got from my comments over a year ago when I did a visualization of the Eras Tour a different way. I didn't put them in order. I was putting them in just groups of how many times she wore everything. They said that, isn't it crazy that Evermore and Tortured Poets were never on the set list at the same time? And because of that, I thought, wouldn't that be kind of interesting to put them together on a page? Because Evermore lost its own set and moved into the Folklore set, whereas Tortured Poets kind of had its new set the day Evermore left. So it's kind of 2 that you wouldn't normally put together, but it's kind of cool to visualize this way. Also with the Tortured Poets set, it's really hard to tell the difference between them, but there are 2 in there. I will say, before I get comments on it, about the yellow Evermore dress, I do think there is a chance the yellow Evermore dress did exist. However, in my opinion, I could not find it while the show was happening, and I couldn't even tell the difference. And so I feel like in my rule of thumb, if the general audience wouldn't be able to tell which outfit you're wearing that count as the same one. So like, let's say she like made a hole in a dress and then came out with a new replacement dress. I wouldn't have counted that as new. The same way as the layman person, if they couldn't tell if it was orange or yellow, it's the same dress to me. That's the one here. Next up, what I can do with Broken Heart set, I actually had to put the mannequin underneath because it was hard to see the 2-piece set she was wearing underneath it. And then she did mix and match them a lot, so it's not like 1-to-1. On this bottom row alone, you can see the black 2-piece set with white as the jacket, and then the black 2-piece set with the gold. And then up there on the row above it, you can see the black 2-piece set with like the graphite jacket. So she does mix them up a lot. The surprise song dresses, I think, is my favorite page in the sense that you can kind of very easily see the three legs of the tour very clearly, or at least the three legs that maybe the outfits took, even if it isn't just based on continent. Because the first leg of the tour, which was the original US leg plus South America and Asia, shared that style of the dress here with the like pinkish red one, the green, the yellow, and the blue. Those were the same until Europe. In Europe, she had a brand new style of dress here with pink, blue, and orange that really took the stage. And then when she came back to the US a second time, the surprise song dress took another shift into like a multicolored kind of fabric where she did like a beta fish, or the koi fish, whatever we called it, and then like the galaxy purple one. It was so gorgeous. And it is funny to see that there's only one exception to when she ever broke this rule, and that's when she wore orange with Sabrina, which might have been an Easter egg for the Life of a Showgirl title track, but I don't really know for sure. Now this one I think is very visually fun because the Midnight's bodysuits are really stunning. You can see for 3 rows of this, we have only 2 options. The original like navy color, and then the like blue, purple, kind of patterned one, which I think is really cute. And then eventually we got that cutouts one. She wore the cutouts 14 times in a row, which eventually people took as a Easter egg towards Fortnite, which we didn't realize until once the song came out. Then once the Chevron one came in, it became the clear favorite from then on out. You can see it's like the majority of every row it's in once it debuts. Isn't that not crazy? Now the last one I made for this is the Midnight's t-shirt. I kind of like the color scheme of this. It really does feel like Midnight's. I didn't do a Karma Jacket one, which might be controversial. I couldn't make it look good, and I didn't want to put something here that looked bad. So I did the Midnight's t-shirts, hopefully as a good finale. I think the jewel tone kind of colors here are stunning. I'm truly obsessed, and I love the aesthetic of the Midnight's era. I think it looks great, and it really translated well into the shirts that she wore. Anyway, with that, I'm very proud to showcase this. I did this with Sabrina Carpenter a couple weeks ago, and I have seen some requests to do it with more artists as well. If I get enough requests for a specific artist, I might be able to do this for them. The only thing is I draw every single one of these outfits myself, and they do take a long time each outfit. The reason it was easy with Taylor and Sabrina is because I happened to already be drawing them like as a hobby as the show went on, so I didn't have to draw them all at once. It kind of spread out over the 2 years the tours lasted, but I am willing to draw some out, but I want to make sure the people really, really want it before I spend maybe 60 hours drawing. So let me know what you guys think.